Innovation. Creator. Leenock. Solar. Am I dead or alive?
Are you dead or alive? Those are the lyrics. Well, we're going to find out who is dead or alive in just a moment, Artosis. Indeed. One of these two guys is going to be the first to be eliminated. We've already got Innovation, our first survivor.
Yeah.
I don't think it's looking good for Creator.
No.
If we're basing this off of previous players, or excuse me, player history.
We're basing this off of anything other than who was better in 2011. I think that Creator is having a hard time here against Solar, but we will see. We will see.
I feel for Creator because he's not a bad player at all, but he doesn't.
Oh, he's very good.
Yeah, he just doesn't have anything extra in these games. He seems like he's fast,
he doesn't
he's
have
scary,
what
but he's not.
Tasteless likes to call the X factor.
He doesn't have that X factor.
Yeah.
He's
just never going to be a star.
Not if he doesn't win Artosis, unfortunately. Whereas Solar's somebody who's got really robust macro games, but he's also very tricky.
Yeah, he's a very brainy Zerg player.
He exhibits a lot of the qualities that you expect in the very, very best players in the whole world. Creator is somebody who looks really good. He's a great practice partner, according to a lot of these other pro gamers, but he does not have, as far as we can tell, any real tricks up his sleeve, any styles of play that are going to change the meta or going to throw his opponents off. So this is going to be a tough one for Creator.
It really is. I mean, Solar is a tough cookie to crack in this matchup. He's one of the best Swarm host players. He's literally the first person in the modern day to use Bane Hydra.
That's right.
He kind of reintroduced that to the meta, like way before anyone else is using it. No one even used it after him for a long time. So, I mean, he has a full range of play.
Yeah.
I feel like right now the ZVP, everyone's got like very good Hydra timings and stuff. So Creator, I mean, we'll see. Is he just going to make a Warp Prism, charge lots, and Archons? Like, is that what we're going to see? Does he have something else up his sleeve? All right, let's do it.
GSL Season 1, Code S, Daybreak. When the lights come on, when the crowd goes wild, let the roof up on the hills.
Okay, in the upper left, in the blue, he is
Jin-Air Green Wings, Creator.
I keep going through the match number in my head. It's like 3563 right now. Trying to figure out when the next satisfying pattern of numbers will be. I just keep thinking about it, and I can't come up with anything right now that's anywhere close.
Slugs, Solar.
I guess in 4 matches, 3, 5, 6, 7, but that's not really that good.
No,
you know
not that satisfying, really.
That doesn't tickle the part of my brain I want it to tickle, you know?
So an immediate Nexus here, and Protoss beginning to wall in.
Oh, Nexus first, yeah, look at that.
Yeah. I don't know if Zerg's going to try to do any Baneling busts. Those seem like they can definitely, at times, be problematic.
Yeah,
if Solar, because Solar's somebody who will do an all-in.
Yeah, he'll definitely mix in. I think that he doesn't do it here. Stargates are still very popular in this matchup, and like you don't expect for something like that to end up working. That's not where you're going to make your money, is on Baneling busts. In this matchup, maybe no regret, but other people know. But yeah, I mean, I think that Solar will just play a macro game. You know, maybe get one of these quicker layers that we've been seeing a lot out of Zergs. Get those Hydras out. Just kind of be wary of quick adept plays, and you should be all right. I do like the fact that he went Nexus first, though. This is good stuff. Like, he's showing a little bit of speed in his play here.
It's looking a little bit more like StarCraft 1 build to start things off. Just immediately getting that Nexus up. And
where's the Forge, though?
Well, that's the beautiful part is if he doesn't even have to worry about whether or not the Lings will fit through.
Yeah.
Unlike the problem for Protoss players is StarCraft 1, where 20 years later we still don't quite know how to wall in correctly. So the third hatchery comes down, which is a completely reasonable response to a Protoss fast expanding, as Zerg wants to get that economic tempo advantage.
Yeah. 3 bases after that speed. Stargate on the way, very standard on both sides. Do expect 1 to 2 oracles coming up. And I would imagine a layer in another minute or so should get started. We'll see exactly how quickly Solar wants to do it. Definitely something I've noticed, in the current metagame. We're seeing layer a little bit quicker from Zerg players than it was a few months ago.
Okay, Ling speed nearly finished now. And the first Adept is going to come out here. It looks like these 2 Lings might be able to get through. The Adept's not going to be done in time, and they do manage to slip in here to do a little bit of scouting.
Yeah,
Very
it's
important.
a bit annoying, especially with speed.
Yep, seeing that second gateway. Just slowing down some of the mining here. And that Adept is now going to shade in. 1 probe killed off. Looks like he should be able to get 2 here.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Could he get 3 tasteless?
Let's find out. I think he will. Yeah. Nicely done. These are actually doing a lot more damage than I thought they were.
Quality.
Second group of Lings peeking in to see if they could actually run in. Did he?
Yeah. He sees that
sees
as
it.
well. That's a pretty solid scout, seeing the Robo. That definitely can mean that he goes for one of these plays where you see the quick Prism, possibly going into Charge and Archons. It's pretty popular at the moment. Second Oracle is on the way. First one flying across right now, I believe, right?
I think so.
I think it's about to
should
be.
Third. That should be it over there between the second and there it is. And behind that harass, Zerg droned up a decent amount. And we actually have the second Oracle coming out, and now it's going to be Phoenix's added in.
Yeah, the Forge plus Twilight coming up here as well. So I believe that we'll see some additional gates going up. Is he just going to take a 3rd base right away off of this tech? I mean, that's definitely doable also.
It's definitely possible when you have Oracles out like this. It's a little bit harder for Zerg to actually come in there and shut down that Nexus once it gets started.
I like Solar's play as well. He's going a little bit later layer than what I was talking about before, but getting the Roach Warren and getting that +1 melee. So he is really playing to stay alive against everything. Wow, that was really nice micro there.
Really nicely done.
Good stuff.
Now, that being said, though, these Lings here from Solar are attacking these Adepts. Normally, the Oracles are handy in shutting down any kind of attack on that 3rd base. So they are eventually, that one Adept, is eventually saved here. These Lings tried at the Nexus. I believe these Adepts should be able to chase them away pretty easily, though.
Certainly you are right about
hold
that.
up. I think some of this might be dependent on whether or not Creator, he might get greedy and try to pick up those Adepts and then fly across the map, in which case maybe a lot of Lings come in here and do this.
Well, with a shield battery and a cannon coming up, should be completely fine here.
No, I think you're probably correct about that, actually. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, the Ling's still roaming a little bit here. This is kind of cool, though. Look at this. He's making a single Roach right now, and he's getting a Baneling Nest to go with this, right? So once upon a time, the meta of ZVP was Roach, Ravager, Baneling. That was a strong composition for a bit. People eventually figured out how to stop it. Archons and Immortals, I guess, are pretty good against those units. But, oh my god, I was segueing into, this is cool, though, because he's making a Spire. The low gas cost of Roaches can get into a Spire very easily. But I believe he canceled that Spire and has gone into a Hydralisk Den, which is much more normal, much more what you would expect.
I'm curious if he showed a Spire when he was being scouted and then canceled it.
That could be it.
We didn't really get a lot of shots of what scouted what, especially on the Zerg side of the map. Now this Warp Prism, just like it has been used in Legacy, is basically there to pin the Zerg inside of his base. Zerg can't really dominate the map too much.
Oh
okay,
my
this
god.
Is gonna work out. Oh no, actually, okay, that still got a lot.
Still awesome.
Had he done that like a half-second earlier pull away, it would have been nowhere near impact. Oh my god, he's gonna do it again!
Okay, well that one wasn't as good. May as well call him Sular.
So this Warp Prism, he wants to just make sure that the Zerg is honest with how much he can move out on the map. If the Zerg sends everything out, the Warp Prism's going to come in here and we get a mass warp in. Although I don't feel like Solar's actually that worried about it. But he'll be staying back, I think, for the time being and just tacking up.
Well, the whole game right now is shifting. He can't attack. The Creator cannot attack at this moment. The best he can do is a little bit of harassment, and in fact, he needs to have a Prism set up somewhere. Does he have a Prism on the map? I'm looking at my tiny little mini-map. Is that a Prism at the top right? I'm not sure.
It might be
actually the Phoenix or an Oracle, though.
Oh, it might be the Oracle, actually.
The
one
it's
that was
moving too
shooting
quick
the
to be a
stasis
Prism.
words.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think the only Prism that's out on the map, there it is now. God,
He's done very well with his
he's
oracles.
got a lot of kills with that. The Prism, I think, is still rotating around in the bottom. There it is now.
Okay.
Just sort of waiting as Protoss tries to build up.
Yeah, that's super important, right? Because we're hitting right in that area where you have your Hydralisks upgraded, you have Baneling speed as well. You generally get both those by 8 minutes. And at that point, it's like Protoss cannot attack you. Protoss must play on defense for a little bit, weather any attacks that you're going to do. And one of the best things that they can do during this time is some harassment with a Warp Prism. So we'll see if he can get that Prism in there and get something done.
Solar now takes a 5th expansion, and this is really where Zerg can start to get a lot of momentum. Protoss trying to sneak out here, and I think you're totally right, Artosis. Protoss tends to, at times, have to be a little bit defensive here. A push from Protoss, it's not impossible, but it's quite ambitious if they try to do that.
The thing is, if you're trying to attack in against this, like Psystorm is better defensively, and if you're trying to attack in when you have Zealots against Hydra Bane, it's a very tough time unless you already have some sort of edge going on. So little moves like this are fantastic, though. Look at this, a little Zealot run in. You know, maybe this will do something, maybe it won't. This time, not really, but it keeps him back. Notice how Solar hasn't been able to attack at all, which might be his plan anyways, of course. Like, if you're playing a very good Protoss that's just sitting there defending, the best thing you can do is sit back and tech up.
Okay, that definitely did not do as much damage as Solar had hoped coming up here. Solar, by the way, moments away from actually maxing out. Do you think he's going to try to dive in on that 4th base that Creator's taking? We're at a point in time where I think it's completely reasonable that all Zerg has to do is keep smashing the 4th base and never letting Protoss get any bigger. And as long as he's holding harass like this, he's basically fine.
Yeah, I think if he keeps pressure on but does not sacrifice a huge chunk of army, this is the best play. Because like the follow-up, when like the composition that Creator's making can deal with Hydraling Bane, but it can't deal with Broodlords. And we see that he's on the path to Broodlord tech. He's just started the Spire and the Hive at the same time, so that links up perfectly. You get your Greater Spire as quickly as possible. So, like, I feel like just keeping pressure on, trying to keep him off of Tempest is the best thing you can do. But look, Creator's on top of this as well. Fleet Beacon is going down in enough time to get Tempest out in time for Broodlords. So, like, this game so far, both these guys have played just excellently, I feel. This is kind of the beautiful thing that in StarCraft 2, where it's like, strategically, they're going tit for tat. They're just like, okay, now I took to this, now I took to this. And you see these little subtle movements where neither player right now really feels like they can commit to a full attack.
Well, it seems like, actually, Solar wants to try to come in here from 2 different sides.
Yeah.
You know, Archons and Immortals are not fast. Therefore, if you're in the wrong location, you're not going to be able to do that much. So he's actually going to pull some of his army out here now. Now, these Storms doing a lot of damage, and it seems like actually Creator split his army up basically perfectly. So Solar overextending a little bit. Again, whenever you see Hydras attacking anywhere, if the Zerg starts to lose the attack, the Zerg's probably also going to lose all the Hydras as they try to run away. Yeah. Pretty much everything Protoss can catch up to him.
It seems like he didn't like super duper overcommit there, which is quite nice. And he's got 2-1 upgrades on these Lings, which is super fantastic, dealing with that Zealot harassment well. But look, I mean, I think that Creator's defense so far has been really great. Like, that recall was super nice to make sure he didn't take any damage over there. Just as long... And look, we're hiding that production tab, so we don't know. Is he making Tempest right now? Because he needs some Tempest right now.
We also want to keep our eyes on this Protoss army that we have on camera right now, especially the Immortal count. If he loses all those Immortals, it's going to take a long time to rebuild back up. He has 10 Immortals in this game right now. Even though Creator's done a great job holding on, where we have yet to see him actually push out and do some damage of his own. And it seems like that point in time is going to be now. He's beginning to edge out here.
It's a super scary army.
Yeah, it's something that Solar's going to have to respect for sure. And it's definitely one that's not easy to engage into. Yeah. Okay, so he's now in Zerg turf. Force fields are coming out here. And it's going to be very important that Solar takes his time and does not overextend with this. We see some Banelings coming around. Although there's an Archon up here to try to deny this. Great Storms down there at the 3rd base.
Yeah, truly awesome Storms going down all over these Hydralisks. The Immortals dealing huge amounts of damage. Another great Psystorm over to the side there.
I think he might actually have too much. Zerg's remaking everything, but this is in the center of where all the hatcheries are, so the rally points are going to be pretty ugly.
Well, yeah, this base should fall, but he has Broodlords on the way, and Broodlords with just a little bit of ground arm, he can clear this out reasonably well. I love that he's gone into Stalkers, but his blink is only halfway done.
That's true. I don't know where the Broodlords are exact. Okay, I guess they're just below our screen. That answers that.
He says while the Broodlords are there.
Here we go. So they're going to come up. So it's up to the Protoss to try to avoid actually being around the Broodlords. Now, the Broodlord in groups is a bit of a double-edged sword because a lot of times the Protoss can't engage it, but the Protoss with Stalker specifically can always go around it.
Yes.
You can always blink into the main or anywhere else, and the Broodlords are not going to be able to get there in time.
That is quite true. The Stalker definitely has gotten some changes that have made it a stronger unit, and just kind of running around Broodlords is one way to do it. The thing is, if it's a full-on engagement and there's a decent amount of units underneath, it's very hard to blink underneath Broodlords.
By the way, I want to point out there's this expansion right here. This is so ambitious with Broodlords in the game to expand just right towards the Zerg.
Yeah.
It is 194 supply to 122. There are Banelings underneath there, but I'm wondering if the sheer amount of Stalkers that's going to be a GG.
Well done.
Creator wins game number 1.
I thought he was going to have to go into Tempest. I really did because of the speed of that Broodlord tech, but he just pulled the trigger right before those Broods. If those Broods had been there, 45 seconds earlier, if they had been with the Lingbane Hydra before Creator wrecked it, easy hold, easy big lead for Solar there. But Creator hit a super sharp timing right there. Very well done.
Look at Creator right now. Had his head down, really getting focused, saying, okay, this is a possibility. Solar, by the way, he was supposed to be out of this group second place easy. He's already lost to Leenock. He's now in the losers, and I think it's fair to say we would all expect Creator to have an even harder time against Solar.
Dude, based on that game,
player.
He can beat Solar and Leenock.
Yeah.
Based on that game, he can get second place in this group.
Well,
absolutely.
His PVZ seems fine, and right now, that's all that matters.
That was a great game. That was very well played by him. Especially that timing before the Broodlords, that's hard to hit, and he nailed it.
Okay. Game number 2 is going to be on the map Odyssey. Let's see what happens. The pressure's on for Solar. So far, 2018 is not looking to be his year. He may be the first player to be knocked out of the GSL Codex, which is really weird to say. Leenock or Creator was, I think, what everybody was expecting to hear as far as who was eliminated first, but this is a very big upset if Creator manages to win either this game or the next. And our game is now loaded up, so let's do this. Game number 2 on the map Odyssey.
GSL Season 1, Codex, Daybreak. When the lights come out.
In the bottom right, winning game number 1, he is
Jin Air Green Wings, Creator.
And in the upper left, in the red, our Zerg player.
Splice, Solar.
Super cool so far. Really enjoyed that first game so much. But, based off that first game, it seems like they're a very good match for each other in this matchup. I do notice that Odyssey was Solar's map choice. That was kind of the map he wanted to play on here. The Lingbane Hydra attacks that you can do on this map are a little bit hard to defend sometimes for Protoss. The third base, you're generally going to take the one below your natural, or I guess in this case above for Creator. I always spawn on the left side, so that's why I get confused. But it's a little bit hard in that area. You don't have a lot of room for microing or buildings there. But I'll be interested to see, because last time, he got into it, right? His Baneling speed didn't finish till about 8:10, but he didn't do a full attack. He harassed a little. He did one little attack, but it wasn't like a big deal, Convinced my wife to watch with me all the way
to the Philippines. Welcome, guys. Excellent. Thanks for coming down. I have to say, I'm a little bit surprised we didn't have any crazy cheeses, especially considering that the whole game has been changed. A lot of times that's when an all-in or something like that can be the scariest, is when people really just don't have any experience with it. But instead, most of today's games have been very textbook RTS, very proper. This is the way you want to play if you want to ladder up and have consistent wins.
Yeah, people have been pretty active, so I think that a lot of those cheeses have been kind of figured out. we're not, unless Haas is playing, we're not seeing the proxy 18 shield battery attacks or, stuff like that as much right now. So, okay, quick Twilight this game. So showing a bit more variety here is Creator. Not a bad choice, but specifically Solar in the previous game, we did see him add a Roach Warren early on. Some Zergs will downright skip that. But if you have a Roach Warren, there's not a lot to fear from this early Twilight tech. So basically what I'm trying to say is, like, there's two types of Zergs in this world. Ones that'll make a safety warren and ones that won't.
Yeah.
And Solar's one that will.
Yeah, well, I feel like even though Solar has not been performing very well today, he's a player who definitely probably views himself as generally better than his opponent, and therefore just needs to make sure everything is safe in the early game, and he should be able to win later on. And that would make sense in why he's doing that. Now, we have Zealot Legs coming here, along with the Robo.
And he got in and he actually scouted exactly what was going on. So will we see him throw down a Roach Warren momentarily here? He saw the Robo, he saw the Twilight making an upgrade. It's pretty easy to figure out what's going on.
It would seem like this, would be the exact response you would want to have. And even getting one Overlord to come in there now, just to get confirmation of that.
Totally. And with the Roach Warren on the way, it makes me a bit nervous here for Creator. He's going to be sitting here playing with charge lots. And this is like, don't bring charge lots to a Roach fight, man.
Well, I mean, the Zealots aren't going to do anything.
In the early game, it's like later game, fine. You have enough production and stuff. You got some upgrades going on. But in this early portion where you're warping in charge lots off like 4 gates, and you're trying to kill a 3-hatch Zerg with 3 queens that's making roaches and lings and has their queens out, I don't see this work. It's, in my opinion, this is a tough one. But I do like these the Templar Archives follow-up. That's nice. When you force things like roaches out to kind of go into that, you can do some harassment. They don't have Hydras to shoot down your Prism so easily. That can be nice.
Yeah, well, I think also he's teched in this direction, but I think identifying that you really can't do that much, what other choice do you have than to tech past this and go to another phase of the game where you might have some options? So the War Prism's moving out. Now, I almost feel like this is more as the idea of the threat than it actually doing any damage. It's going to keep, like we saw thematically in the last game, it's going to keep Zerg pretty honest. And I think this will also just allow Creator to comfortably take a third. And let's remember that in the last game, oh no, 2 more Lings actually getting in. How about that? Okay.
Cool.
Basically, the entire game, Solar's seen everything the Creator's doing from start to finish.
Yeah. And, it can be useful just to force roaches out of your opponent, right? Because roaches are much easier to counter. But with roach speed on the way and a lot of roaches being made, he might be going for an old-school counter to Archon drop. Because this is an Archon drop coming. And the first build that started countering this was people that would just make a bunch of speed roaches and attack the third base. And you would just see the Protoss lose the third base like every time.
Yeah.
And so Archon drop went away for a little bit. Eventually it came back. Yeah, it's a usable build still. But let's see where he wants to go with this, because there's double Prism out, a bunch of speed. Charge lots coming down here to the third.
Okay, so the Archon's going to do so much damage. It can be microed to such an insane extent if you're good at juggling them in and out of the Warp Prism. But the Zealots alone aren't going to be able to do that much. Here come the Archons now. I note he wants to pick up immediately and go back and just find another area where he can do damage while basically not losing anything. As long as he doesn't lose the Archons, because if it's just shields, they're always going to come back.
Yeah.
He's doing a lot of damage to his opponent. Of course, he has to be careful. If he loses that War Prism, then is all for nothing. So Solar's going to be looking for that, especially in areas on creep, to try to gun that down.
Well, anything you can get. This is like, this is a cool thing about Archon drop against, these roach-based plays, right?
Yeah.
It's just pure value. He's killed like an Overlord, a couple drones, maybe he'll get a roach, he's got some lings,
And this Zerg army's not moving out on the map. It's not going to try to fight the third or anything like that. And look at this, he just continues to rotate them in and out. And right when they get low, he backs out.
Great stuff.
Uh-oh.
Well, there is that counterattack.
Now let's see what there actually is. There's a few Zealots here, which might as well be nothing there at all.
Must have units. Yeah, there it is.
Okay, it's got something. One Immortal. Angling's going to be a little bit awkward here. Force field comes down, but does not lock any roaches out.
That was an instant bile, too, on that force field, so really nicely done by Solar.
Okay.
Look at him just chew through this, man.
Yeah.
This is what originally ended Archon drops.
Yeah. Well, there's just so much here. And the force fields aren't really doing anything. Now he's going to tear through. We see that the Zealots, Archons are dropping back over here. I don't know, though. I think that Zerg can continue to pump out units. And
is he going to break through?
I think so. I mean, it's just, there are 2 Immortals, and that's really what's going to help fight the Roaches, but there's really nothing else to stop those Immortals from taking damage here.
Well, he's got the Prism juggle going on a little bit here. He's got to pick up that one. Ah, it's so low, that red Immortal.
I can't believe that's still alive. He even dropped it in the front.
That's the last thing they'll expect.
Yeah.
Right in front of them.
That should be game. There's not even enough room to really warp in here without dodging vials. So that should be GG, and we'll actually go to our first game 3 here of this season of the GSL Code S. There's really nothing, there's nothing that you can do to stop this from coming through. Zerg will be able to get in the main, take out all the tech. The last Immortal goes down.
Well,
I don't know if you guys really want me to play-by-play this anymore. Building's blowing up.
I don't.
24 dead probes.
Oh,
man, that's too bad.
Heartbreak.
GG. So, Solar evens it up.
So, let me just say something about that, right? If you're going to do double Prism harassment, again, this is one of the original counters that was used against that. And the counter to the counter that people found, like, for instance, Zest started doing Archon drops again, right? And what he would do is, if you were going to counterattack him, he would kill one of your bases.
Yeah.
He's like, I will sack my 3rd possibly here, right? But I'm going to kill one of your bases. And, like, basically, Creator saw the attack coming, and he's like, uh-oh, I better go home with these Archons to save it. And I think he was right. They had, like, no shields and stuff. But, I mean, damn, if you're sitting there making charge lots that aren't doing any damage, you're not making Immortals at home, you have 1 Immortal when 25 Speed Roaches come, you're in trouble.
Well, also, I feel like that strategy, I'm surprised Creator even thought that was going to work against somebody like Solar. Solar, on some level, built his career off shutting stuff like that down with just really robust play and coming out and just having more in the end. And I think something, I guess, as fancy as that, and also that's been tried and tested, that's not a new strategy. That's actually pretty dated. That's, I don't think, just going to work at all. I think, in fact, Creator wants to probably dial it back to a more normal play of just defending, just being safe.
I love this play on Ascension Ire. And
yeah,
you know
I thought it was awesome.
I like that he tried to mix it up. It just absolutely didn't work out for him there on Odyssey.
Sure. Well, you got to try different strats in a series like this. Unfortunately, that one didn't work.
GSL Season
Let's go to
1,
this last game.
Code S, Daybreak. When the lights come out.
Our Protoss player in the upper right.
Jin Air Green Wings, Creator.
And his opponent down here in the bottom left.
Splunts.
So we're on black-pink, okay? What would you rather have, a black eye or a pink eye?
That's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
Is pink eye the correct answer? I'm not totally sure.
Well,
black eye
you
would
know
have
what
to mean
pink
I got
eye
beat
is,
up.
right?
Yes, I know what pink eye is.
Well, okay, I'm just making sure.
Yeah, no problem.
But no, a black eye doesn't mean necessarily you're beat up. Maybe you walked into a door. I don't know.
That's true. Maybe you fell.
Yeah, could be.
Oh, nice.
Oh, this guy has a flask.
That's excellent.
He's got a.
That's
not only does he have a
exactly
GSL hoodie, but he's like swigging from a flask in the back of the studio,
excellent.
watching
well,
some
that's,
ZVP.
that's how StarCraft was meant to be
Yeah,
watched,
it is.
right?
Yeah. Oh man, I love it. You
That was
don't
a good
see
catch
you
by
don't
our
see
camera guys, too.
flasks enough nowadays.
I know.
Cheers to that.
We need to
guy.
bring flasks back.
Yeah.
So, in this game, everything pretty normal, actually. Again, I thought maybe we'd see something crazy so far today. We still have one more series after this, by the way, guys. Don't forget, the winner is going up against Leenock. Leenock, who actually managed to defeat Solar earlier today here. And I think it was a pretty impressive upset.
Yeah.
2-0.
Yeah, and I don't think he played terribly against Innovation. It's just it's Innovation. What do you want? But right now, I'm looking at this. All three of these players, I give a very good shot at getting out. Like, you know, I can't actually decide the favorite looking at the games that we've seen already today. Creator has shown very good PVZ. Leenock has shown very good ZVZ. So this is not just a Solar walkover, which, coming into today, I have to be frank, I really thought that Solar... I was like, okay, Leenock could upset him, but that's about it.
Nicely done. Gets the pylon down there. So the hatch can't be planted just yet. And there's just not quite enough to get it fast enough. There he goes. Gets that cancel. But that, you know, that buys a few extra seconds. Now the Adept is going to come out. Ling's actually going to pass this by. I thought he was actually going to keep pursuing. These Lings are probably going to try to come up here and get inside the natural. Solar's overall been pretty good about doing that.
Ling's been getting in his base all day long.
If you remember in Game 2, Solar basically had vision the entire time of Protoss's base
Pretty
from start to finish.
Really. Well, it's a Robo coming up, so it might be the same type of build. It could be an Adept all-in as well, considering he's made 3 Adepts so far. It's a possibility. Still definitely a doable build, of course.
Okay, some nice harass coming in here. And he's going to get behind these minerals to try to buy time and then try to shade away.
You know what? This might be one of those...
To be honest, guys,
harass,
getting 4 drones.
Seriously.
I mean, that's pretty good. Although, once again, Solar here with the scouting. He sees exactly what's going on.
Okay, so a Robo with a Prism, and he's making sentries out of his gateway. So this is kind of interesting. Like, there are some sentry stalker, like, mass up all-ins that you can do, or you hit that third base and you kill them before they get their Hydras out.
Is he going to pull this up?
Oh my god.
It did not quite work.
Greediest thing I've ever seen my whole entire life.
So the Lings actually run in. He was trying to shade behind and then build a pylon in front of the Adept, so when the shade finished, it would be behind, but it wasn't quite timed out well.
Yeah, everything went wrong right there.
Now we got the sentry falling around with its Ghostbusters laser. It's doing like no damage at all.
Oh my god. Dude, oh my god, a Ghostbusters laser. I love it.
Doesn't really do that much damage.
Just holds him still.
Yeah. They got to kick the vault.
Egon the vault!
Yeah. It was the vault, right? That's what they kicked out to catch them all.
Of course, yeah.
Remember there was a Ghostbusters cartoon, but for some reason they were friends with Slimer?
Yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah, well, no, but I mean, in the movie, they actually... Slimer got messed up. He was the first guy to go down.
Oh, no, he got screwed,
He was the first boss in the movie.
Well.
The first boss!
Don't screw around in a library, man.
You got to really think about it, actually, in that Ghostbusters cartoon. What was going on in Slimer's head betraying all ghosts?
You know what's too bad?
It's like a ghost sociopath?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
He was, he was like the Jar Jar Binks of that, though. But, like, truthfully, you know what's funny is poor Slimer is in that vault right now in the Ghostbuster movie canon world, and he's just been stuck there, which is basically ghost hell forever, right?
Yeah. That's now, like ghost solitary confinement.
If he had just waited to haunt that library just a few more years when the internet came out, no one ever would have even known he was in there.
That's true.
No one would have gone to that library, all right?
That's a very good point, Artosis.
People would... Well, I guess the only people that would know are the same people who won't tell you because they're like the guys that go to the library to look at porn or something. You know? Those guys aren't telling on no ghosts, dude.
That's right.
It's not happening.
It's between me and the ghosts. All right?
The ghost sees what he's looking at. He's like, I won't tell if you won't.
Ghosts do not tell.
What happens in the library stays in the library.
Slimer's like, just don't tell him I'm taking food in the kitchen. Even though it's a library and there is no kitchen.
I know.
Okay, here we go. The push is actually coming out. Actually, is he going to just back out?
This is not really the scariest army I've ever seen.
What exactly is this dancing hologram lady doing on this map? And Ninja vanish.
Where'd they go? Oh, there they are.
Oh, I was confused.
Look, it didn't work!
I was like, what power is that by the Zerg? Oh, okay, he escaped.
So there's actually mutas on the way.
Yep.
And there haven't been Stargates. There's no blink. This is mutas are a pretty good counter against someone who doesn't have anti-air. Believe it or not, guys. Double Stargate on the way to try to counter that. But he's going to put a ton of money into Phoenixes and then have less ground units because of that. Kind of annoying.
Seems like Zerg's taking this game into a really healthy direction for him.
Yeah.
Once again, as consistent with this entire series, every time Solar gets in here, Sling's like, I can't believe I'm doing this.
I got it, boss.
Okay. The mutas are out. We don't see... I'm sorry, the Warp Prism's back at home, right? It's not out on the map. I don't see it anywhere.
Oh, I don't know where it is,
I have
actually.
lost it. It's probably dead. It was probably died on camera. We were talking about Ghostbusters.
Sounds like
yeah,
me.
it sounds like our casting. So the mutants fly back out.
It's like he never even made a Prism, guys. You don't even know what game this is.
Like,
this is a TVT.
This is a Terran vs. Terran, yes.
At least we both knew it would be a TVT. Would be the least likely game to see a Prism in.
So, yeah, with the Mutas out, it's really the Zerg that gets to control the map now. And I don't think Protoss can actually get a 4th base for some time.
Okay, so I need to point out, he went double Stargate, made 2 Phoenixes, and then went Blink and just stopped making Phoenixes. So that's kind of different and interesting for me. Well, I guess there's Corruptors coming, so the double Stargate and the fact that he's shown Phoenixes maybe have made Solar think that he can go Corruptor Phoenix, or a Corruptor Muta against Phoenixes, which definitely is something that can be done, especially when your opponent's going Colossus. But Blink is going to be pretty good against all that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You hide the Corruptors, right, when you're doing this? You keep it back, or does it actually matter?
When you have your good number, you can just go out and you just keep them in between the Phoenixes and your Mutas. But because there's Colossus out there, going to be very useful for that as well.
Okay, for the time being, Protoss still turtled up on 3 bases. Oh, I'm sorry. No, he just now took a 4th.
Yeah.
And the Temple Archives is also just now starting. But Zerg's about to be on 5 bases. Zerg is also about to max out, which means there is a very high chance of a fight down here at this lower base for Protoss. And sometimes in moments like this, it's really not up to the Zerg player to try to wipe out the entire everything that's Protoss on the map. It's just to keep shutting down that 4th base. And then eventually the Protoss dries up economically. So this is really the burden right now really on Creator to try to push out. And you can see already zoning-wise, it looks like almost as if Solar's going to let this Nexus probably finish before he goes down here, and instead he's going to try to see if he can't take a big fight up here in the front.
Oh, God, that is a lot of Banelings.
Yeah, oh, my God.
That is a serious amount of Banelings. And then the force fields were not enough.
It's like one of those zombie
And then they were not enough
yeah.
again. Oh, my God. Over and over, they were not enough.
Well, there's a lot of Immortals over here. The Stalkers are actually pretty well placed. That might have been a little bit of an overextension. I believe the Nexus is, the Nexus just now finished.
I don't like the unit set, though, of Creator. Like, this is,
yeah.
It's a good idea to get in here and harass some. Oh, he doesn't even have charge yet. Oh, my God, there's so many links. Oh, my God. But, like, I don't like his unit set. What's his unit set right now? Blink Stalkers and 2 Immortals? That's like his army? Are we 10 minutes into a PvZ or are we not? Like, that is not an army that does anything at this point. So, a little bit frightening in that way. He just started Storm. Because there's Corruptors out, he's not even going to bother making another Colossus. I guess he is, never mind.
This is actually a little bit ambitious that Protoss is moving out on the map with these Stalkers. Even though Stalkers are quite strong right now, the sheer number of Zerg units that are out and the speed at which you can move them around, you're definitely at risk of still losing those. Once again, Solar's about to hit the max out point, in which case he almost wants to get rid of some of the supply in a big attack. But remember, Solar did not actually try to attack that 4th base. He tried to attack the army. So that 3rd base is still up and running, and now there's a 5th base being taken. Creator might, because he was a little bit more patient and defensive. Well, hold on, let's see how
his
this...
Storm isn't done, so...
Oh my God, you're right.
That's a pretty big issue.
Well, look at this. I think even if most of the Banelings hit the Immortals, he's still okay.
Look at how many Banelings
he just keeps moving Banelings until there's nothing else on the map to move into.
Whoa!
He's going to move those Banelings and blow them up on the assimilators. It doesn't matter.
Just hits X on him in the middle of the map.
He's blowing them up on destructible rocks.
God.
Well, you know what? I don't think Solar actually saw that bottom right base. I don't think it's going to matter in the long run in this game.
No. He's still in that same situation where he doesn't really have an army that makes any sense. So he made Psystorm and a bunch of High Templars, lost the High Templars before Psystorm was done, and now he's starting Colossus production now that he has Psystorm.
Yeah. Never enough. I mean, when you're on 5 bases as Zerg, the amount of gas you have, I mean, you just basically roll in a nuclear bomb amount of Banelings, and there's just not much they can do. I mean, there's Banelings basically soaking damage so the ones in the back can do damage.
Banelings as tanks.
Yeah. These Banelings in the front tank for the ones in the back. Look at this.
Oh my God, it's a lot.
Look at this poor Colossus. Oh! Now, again, I don't think these are the most efficient trades here. I'm not sure it's going to matter.
You know what? The one completely standard game that we had from Creator, I think was by far his best game today. Like, by far his best game.
You mean the first game he had against Solar?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a...
Like, he played a very good, solid macro game, and then he kind of did 2 aggressive builds in these next 2 games, and Solar is just like, I make Roach Warrens. You know? Maybe you want to do this against Biel, who won't make a Roach Warren. When that's a win condition, is make a Roach Warren. Biel's like, nah, I can do it with Hydras, it's fine. But not Solar.
Look at this. That's not going to get you a win.
Ooh,
in the mind games.
Get wrecked.
I knew you'd do that.
These 2 Phoenixes are starting to come back.
Yeah. If he could just do that a couple more times. I need him to make one more Ravager, so he hits this one again.
Dude, he lost his Colossus. Thermalance just finished. He made 2 more High Templars. This is like... this is a very funny thing that I'm watching. Like, as his upgrades finish, he doesn't have the unit that uses it, and he makes the other unit. Oh, I guess he made a second Colossus. Okay.
Well, for Solar, it's just rinse and repeat. He just remakes all of these Bailings, comes again in here and tries to swallow up the remaining army. And it's getting smaller and smaller each time. The distance in supply is getting further away from each other. And I mean, we have like 3 Stalkers here. All right, that's it. GG. Solar wins, and that means he gets his rematch against Leenock.
Yeah, Creator pretty crushed there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he has had a string of bad years, and this one not starting any better, really. 1-4 out of Codes in the first day. Ouch.
Yep, Creator, our first player to die in the GSL for the season. And now we just have 2 left in Group A. The rematch, ZDZ, and I got to say, I feel for Creator here. You know, he's been playing since day 1 of the beta. He's had periods where he looked like he might advance further, but was eventually outmaneuvered by some of these guys that we talk about more nowadays. He gave it his all. He had a great game against Solar in Game 1, but of course that's why we have a series, is so that the players can try different strategies, try to get reads on each other. And once again, he's out. I hope to see him again in the next season. We are going to be going to a break very shortly here. It's going to be Leenock versus Solar, so don't go away. We'll be back soon.